Hello, my name is Tony Nichols and I'm the Federal Programs Director for Nicholas County Schools, and I'd like to welcome you to some of our learning sessions that we're going to be doing. We have several of our finest teachers in the county that have volunteered to do some reading and some math lessons especially. We'd like to thank SCTV for broadcasting these sessions. We're hoping to continue them over the summer as well, and we are hopeful that this is going to be a big help to those students that we have that don't have a whole lot of network access. These sessions will be broadcast through Chantel, so we'd like to also thank them for their help and support. For those who don't have Chantel service, you can check the SCTV website and Facebook page, and they'll be running these sessions as well. So we hope that these will be helpful for our students and help us continue to show progress and achievement for our students.
Hello, I'm Susan Barrett, retired teacher from Nicholas County Schools. I worked in the schools for 39 years, and since then I've been working as a substitute and as a math consultant. Math is my passion. So today we're going to talk about beginning to count. We'll focus on counting numbers out loud and putting those numbers in order. We'll start right now with just numbers up to 10. Your child may be ready to go past that, but I would not recommend it until you're sure that he or she is secure with the numbers up to 10. So one of the first things to do would be to start counting out loud from 1 up to 10 slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kids learn that first typically, but they tend to rush through it just as they do with their ABCs. They may not even understand that there are separate words, never mind what those words mean. Just like with the ABCs. I remember one of my own children proudly reciting H-I-J-K-M-N-L-N-P. So you want to take the time to go slowly and make sure that each word is separated as they count to 10. When that's secure, I'd work on counting back from 10 down to 1, or even better, from 10 down to 0. When we're counting up, we don't usually say 0. It's fine to start there. But counting down, a lot of kids will go 3, 2, 1, 0, blast off, which is fine. 0 is an important concept, although it's a little more abstract. Don't want to leave it out. You can practice counting with a partner. You and your child can take turns. You can decide who goes first. You can start with any number. You don't have to start with 1. So if your child says 4, you can say, are we counting up or counting down? And how many numbers should you say? You could go 4, 5, 6, or you could count down 3 numbers, 4, 3, 2. Again, once you're secure up to 10, you can start working up to 20. But make sure it's solid up to 10 first. One of the great things about these counting out loud activities is that you don't need any materials. You can do them just about any time and anywhere. So you want to keep your sessions short, make it fun, and seize every opportunity you can to practice. For example, riding in the car, taking a walk, maybe say a number with each step, while you're eating your breakfast or your lunch. These are little times you can snatch to practice counting. The next thing we're going to do is look at connecting what you hear and what you say with the way the number is written. The written form is called the numeral, although we actually often refer to them as just numbers. So these are little squares that are made of craft foam, but you could use anything, pieces of paper. The craft foam is nice because it's pretty durable, it's pretty cheap, and it's quiet. So I'm just turning these numbers over. They're organized in just a random fashion. One thing you can do is have your child pick a card and tell you what number it is. Pick another card, tell you what number it is. You want to be sure these are really secure. You can also have all the cards flipped over and ask your child to show you a particular number. So let's say show me the 2, show me the 3, etc. You can then work with putting the numbers in order. You can start with the smallest number, which in this set is 0, and line them up. But it's just as important to start with the highest number and go down. Have your child do this. Don't do it for him. And have him tell you the numbers as he goes, setting them out. You can also put them out maybe with a little mistake in it and see if your child picks up what's wrong. Again, point and say each number as you work on this. So that's just a little bit with recognizing the numbers and getting them in order. Let me get them back in order here. Okay, I'm not too worried about writing the numbers right now, your child writing the numbers, but certainly you want them to be able to recognize the numbers when they're written, and you can also give them little puzzles like this. See if your child can tell what's missing. Practice counting up, practice counting back. For our first activity, I'm using a regular deck of playing cards. The ace would represent 1. I've taken out all the picture cards or face cards because our focus here is on the numbers 1 through 10. The first game is called 1 to 10. And each person will set out 10 cards. I'm putting them in 2 rows of 5. Here you go, 10 for you. Each space represents one of the numbers from 1 through 10. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Before you start the game, you might ask your child to show you which space is 10, where is the 5, where is 7. That might be harder. Notice if your child starts from 1 to find 7 or knows, okay, that's 5, 6, 7. You'll practice this same skill as you play the game. Would you like to go first?
No, I don't know what we're doing.
Okay, I'll go first. Turn over the top card. It's a 7, so I've got to find my 7 spot. 6, 7. Put the 7 there, turn this over. It's a 3. 1, 2, 3. Put the 3 down. And I keep, oh, it's an ace, that's a 1. I keep going until I get a card that's a number that's already there, like just happened. Now I've got 7, so my turn is over. It's your turn. You can either start with the 7 or take a new card.
6, 2, 8.
So you're practicing saying the numbers,
7,
and you're practicing
9,
putting them in order.
1. Oh, back to 8.
Okay.
Your turn.
Play continues like this until one player has all their cards face up, and that's the end of the round. So that game is called 1 to 10. This next game is called Line 'em Up. I'm dealing out the cards to my partner and to myself so that we each have an equal number. In this game, you can play it a lot of different ways. We'll start with kind of a basic way. What we're going to do is line up the cards from ace through 10. It's perfectly okay to look at your cards and for your partner to see your cards. Kids cannot hold a lot of cards in their hand. Okay, you can go first this time. We're going to build up all our numbers from ace up to 10. And we're going to follow the same suits. In other words, all the clubs will go together, all the spades, etc. So I'm just kind of piling them up that way to help me find them. If this is too much for your child, there's no reason you can't play it with just 2 suits. You can also play the same game with ace up to 5, and you can also play the same game without regard to suits and just practice ordering the numbers. Okay, you can put out an ace of anything. I hope you have one. Okay, I'm going to put that over here because we're going to build up from ace to 10. So I have a choice. I can play a 2 of clubs, which is what I'm going to do, or I could play an ace of something else. Your turn. Okay, gosh, I don't have a 4, but here's another ace, so I'll start a pile of hearts. Your turn. Wow.
I'll play on.
There's a 5. Okay, I don't have any more clubs. I will play an ace of diamonds. Wow, you must have all the clubs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need an 8, but I don't have one. But I have a 2 of hearts, so I can play. Wow. After 8 would come 9. I don't have that either. I'm just kind of modeling the counting out loud. And I might be in trouble here. I don't think I have a move. When that happens, I just pass and it's your turn. I'm still stuck. Wow, those are all the way finished. Clubs are done. But I still don't have a move.
How about now?
Yes, I have a 2. Your turn again. And play goes back and forth like this. The first person who uses up all their cards could be called the winner. But really, what we're practicing is just putting the numbers in order. And that game is called Line 'em Up. Let's take a quick look at another version of the game. I'm just going to give you back some cards,
Okay.
for the sake of time. In this version, you could start by playing a 5 as your beginning card. Then you can build up from 5 in the same way, or down from 5, or play another 5. So this version is just line 'em up, where you're looking at counting up and counting back. So I have a 4 of hearts I could play. Good. And I'll play the 3 of hearts, and so on. I mentioned earlier that as you're beginning, you might want to play where the suit doesn't matter. Or you could put a 7 here just to keep the sequence of numbers going. You can also play it with just the lower numbers or just the higher numbers, whatever your child needs to practice. So there are 2 games that are good for putting numbers in order, just using a deck of cards. Alrighty, we've looked at ways to practice counting up and counting back. We've looked at ordering the numbers with the tiles, and we've looked at a couple of card games where you can practice ordering the numbers as well. When your child is really comfortable with 1 through 10, go ahead and work up to 20. Work on counting up slowly. You might get a little tricky with the teens. That's pretty typical. Practice counting back from 20 on down. Practice starting at different numbers. Start with 5, start with 12. Count up, count back, take turns with your child. Same things we were talking about with the smaller set of numbers. When your child is good up to 20, you can work on counting higher. Just like saying the alphabet a little bit quickly, sometimes when kids are counting with higher numbers, they start to kind of run things together. Slow them down so you can hear that each number is a separate thing. It's often a problem for kids to go to the next decade. In other words, they notice the pattern within the decade. They'll be fine with 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. But then what to say next requires a little more thought. So one way to practice that is to go back and think about counting by tens. You can do it with your fingers. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You can count up, you can count back, but especially counting up. Then if your child gets stuck, say at 49, they can think about after the 40s comes the 50s, going back to what they know about counting by tens. The goal is to be able to count up to 100 by the end of kindergarten. Don't rush it. Make sure they know all the steps up to there. A good way to practice, again, taking turns, is picking a starting number other than 1 and deciding whether you want to count up or count back and how many numbers you want to go. So let's say your child says, I want to count up. Okay, I'll pick the starting number and we'll count up 4 numbers. So let's start with 54. So 54, 55, 56, 57. Okay, then switch it up, count down. Let your child pick the starting number. Let them pick how many numbers to count. All of this requires more thought than just the rote counting, just reciting a set of numbers, because you're now really focusing on the sequence, the order of the numbers, which is important to know. Which one comes next, which one comes before. So as you practice all these counting activities, keep your session short, have fun with it.